How's it going, everyone? My name is Roxanne Kiddo. Welcome to a board game I absolutely am starting to love called Vast. It's an asymmetric board game called from videogames. Same makers of Root, Oath, Ahoy, etc. I want to show you how to play this game because I feel like there is a lot of people that play it. They don't really explain the rules. I would love to show you. Once you have a grasp of it, it's quite simple. So let's start with setup. So if you're playing this in tabletop, I would absolutely recommend trying to realign these like so. Let's just speed through this. Like so. All right. So in the game of Vast, the overview is there is a hero called the Paladin in this makeshift, ever-changing Mansion of Death. He comes into the entrance. He's looking for the glorious spider to slaughter. And then while the Paladin is trying to kill the giant spider, the skeletons come after the Paladin trying to kill him. And oh wait, the manor itself is alive. He's like, why is all these people in my mansion? I'm going to seal off all the exits, which is 14 seals, and trap everybody who's in the manor in here, so I can devour them, I assume. And then the Warlock is in the manor as well, trying to dominate treasures and poltergeists. He's trying to dominate them to gain ever power and to win that way. I actually don't really know what the target of what he's trying to do is. I'm assuming it's just trying to get more power and to win. Yes, more power. I'm not sure if he's trying to eat people or if he's just trying to get powerful. I have no idea. But that's the overview. All right, so in a 5-player game, that's how you play it. I'm going to play this as if we're going to be playing a 5-player game. The rule books are not that simple. It's very unclear on a lot of things. There's terms that that you need to get used to, like the terms. Let me look at this. The glossary is very helpful. Always look at the glossary when you have questions. If you don't, when you have, if you have more questions, I would recommend this is very helpful. The keys for the tiles when you flip them over, the map revealing the tiles. Don't forget about each time you enter a tile with any enemy tokens, remove one of each enemy token there. That's very important. So if a Paladin enters a blood room tile, you remove the blood. Visibility is very key. There are certain times where I misunderstood light tiles with visibility. So for instance, if I can find what I'm trying to see here. Oh, for instance, if we can go to the sorcerer, visible just means that, so for if the spider, for example, if the giant spider is actually the sorcerer, for a tile to be visible, it doesn't have to be face up. It just needs to be adjacent. So for example, if there's 2 tiles like this, for the sorcerer, this tile is visible, but this tile is not, because it's basically she can see into the dark room, but she can't see outside or out of the dark room. So that's very key. I used to think that when I was reading a card, I used to think that it would always have to be face up to do, but no, it just has to be visible. So visible is very hard to understand sometimes. So just make sure that don't mix up the word visible with light, with tiles are flipped to the light side. So that's very key to understand. So without further ado, we're gonna continue doing kind of a setup here with aspects of the haunted hallways, but I'm not going to be showing these 2 characters today. I might do a separate video for explaining that, how those 2 characters work, the Shadow Paladin and the Armored Knight. But today we're just going to be going through the Paladin, Skeleton, Spider, Wraith, and Warlock. So without doing anything, You just got to make sure that if you're playing the real version of this game, you go through the setup instructions. So the setup instructions is place map and starting tiles. Place tiles on the map board as follows as shown right. Place the starting pit tile marked S face up on the center tile. So for some reason this is marked E. I don't know why it's marked E. And this is marked E, but this should be marked S. And so you put this tile in your box if you're playing the physical version. The box should have basically all these tiles. There's armory tiles, manor tiles, the starting tile, and the center tile. So what you want to do is you want to put the one that has an S on it, which should be this one right here. If you, I mean, technically it doesn't matter how you face it. You probably would prefer to face it this way. Just so if you're facing the board, you can just see it, but technically it doesn't really matter how you place this. This one does matter. So the entrance tile has to face like this with the wall basically going towards the entrance, right? Place the 4 armory tiles cross swords face down the 4 matching spaces. If you want to doing this physically, you can mix them up literally like this if you really want to. Or if you're playing this through Tabletop Simulator, you can just hold over your mouse over it and just press R, and it just does it for you niftily. And it doesn't really matter where you place them. I kind of like doing like top, left to right, top, and then bottom. And then shuffle these tiles, and one by one, if you want to be, it doesn't really matter how you place them. You can do that. You know, you could do this. But if you really want to have some type of, I'm a little bit more like I want a system how to do things here. So what I like to do is I like to do top to bottom. So I do top left, bottom left, top right, right, and then bottom. I don't know why I do that. And I do that same key for every tile I reveal. Revealing is key too. Each character interacts with different tiles in different ways, so you have to remember how they interact. For example, I believe there was never an instance where the Paladin can go on a dark side of the tile. I'm pretty sure he has to crusade, but the Spider can actually move onto dark tiles. And I'm pretty sure that's in our abilities. We could discuss that more later. But just realize that, and unless I'm mistaken, that I think the only people who can actually walk outside of non-dark or light tiles is the skeletons, who can walk into the crypts. What are these called again? Skeletons can into the grounds, rectangular spaces around the map edge, and crypts. So these are called crypts, and these are called the grounds. So the only player who can actually enter the grounds is the skeletons, to my understanding. But the warlock and the skeletons can enter the crypts, which are tiles that don't have tiles on them. And I'm pretty sure the wraith can only go can't go on to the crypts either. So the wraith actually can walk on the dark, but to perform miracles, the wraith actually needs, or the manor actually needs light tiles to mix and match. So let's go into some reading here. Or let's do the setup and we can do some reading. So after that, collect the other 45 tiles, shuffle them face down in a stack, place 6 face down as shown. So we basically finished the setup here. And now we're like this. So I don't know why the Warlock's here, but yeah. So we're gonna start with the Paladin. So if you read the rule book, VAS is an asymmetric game, so each role plays and wins in a very different way. We will describe these differences fully in each role's chapters later. For now, know this: the Paladin wants to kill the Spider, the Skeletons want to kill the Paladin, the Spider wants to gain 12 terror and then escape the Manor wants to complete 14 seals, the Warlock wants to dominate 5 pieces. The Paladin takes the first turn, then the Skeletons, then the Spider, then the Manor, and finally the Warlock. Play continues until the player wins. So that's how every character is trying to win. But the order of how people move matters. So since the Paladin is going first, then the Skeletons, then the Spider, then the Manor, then the Warlock, the setup for the Paladin is first. So place the Paladin board in front of you. This is the Paladin board, right? If you flip it, oh, it actually doesn't do it. Does this one do it? If you flip it, you should be able to see, if you have the physical copy, you should be able to see a nice little poem on there. I think it's very awesome and eloquent. For 4 of them at least, the skeletons, if you flip that tile, it just says tick tock, tick, 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 or you know, like, or something like that. Or click, clack, click, clack, or something, something under those lines, which I just find hilarious. So thankfully, if you play the simulator, a lot of this stuff is already set up for you. But yeah, we have the player board. Place the Paladin figure on the entrance tile. This is the entrance tile, so the Paladin should start here. Place the health cube on the 7, which is there. Set your grit to 0, which is done. Collect the 8 light tokens and the 5 fury tokens and the pillow of light, which is here. Collect the 7 hero cubes. Place 3 hero cubes in the unassigned hero cubes box on your board, which is here. Oh, place 3. Yep. So I have 7 hero cubes, and then I got 3 on my unassigned. Shuffle the 7 treasure cards and place the deck near the mana board. So these are the treasure cards, so we're going to shuffle these. If you didn't, if there was no mana in play, you would just keep the treasure cards next to your favorite cards, like so, and then you would just draw 1 and decide if you want to keep it or discard it. But if the mana is in the game, please give it to the manor. It would be more explained later why that's important. And then shuffle the remaining 7 favorite cards into a deck. Oh wait, find the Illuminate and Vigor favorite cards. So there's my Vigor, and here's my Illuminate. So we're gonna do this. So Shazam, that's good enough for now, I guess. We're not playing with the Armor Knights. I'm gonna delete that. So these are important. You can, if you're playing in tabletop, you can just keep it in your hand like so. But technically, if you want to use a trick, if you don't really have room, you don't want to move stuff around, you could just do this and act as if these cards are played in front of you. If they're not played, you can flip them over, or you could just move this guy over and then do this, for example. And then when these skeletons are gone, you can move this even farther to the left. But Vigor and Illuminate is very important for the Paladin, so just make sure that these are face up in front of you. Revealing cards, if I have to draw cards, for example, this will be in my hand. If it's on the table revealed, that is information other players can see. If it's in your hand, you plan on playing it later, like Pathfinder here, you have to play it to get the passive effect or the one-time effect, whatever the card says. I think majority of the time favorite cards are either passive or one-time, just like treasures, or they might just all be passive if my memory is incorrect here. But Vigor lets you spin Fury. Fury is what you'll get to add strength. Spin 1 Fury to place a breach on a wall on your tile. And Illuminate, spin 1 light to place a lamp on your tile on an adjacent visible tile. So light and lamp, Fury will allow you to breach walls, allow you to add strength to go against the spider's defense to hit her. And light will allow you to basically place the lamps on adjacent visible tiles. So tile on an adjacent visible tile. So this would be a legal move to place a lamp here. If you have light during your turn, you could place a lamp here. Or if this was flipped over automatically and we were here, for example, we could place it adjacent, which is here. So it just has to be visible. It doesn't have to be a light, a light card. That's important to know. And then the lamps actually stop the skeleton's movement. Or you can spin 1 light to remove a web. As time progresses, the spider is going to be placing webs. If there's a web here, I can spin a light to remove this. To remove a web from your tile or an adjacent visible tile. So like I said, the visible is key. To be visible, the tile doesn't have to be face up. It can be face down. But it just depends. So if these 2 tiles are here, this tile will be visible to the Paladin, but this tile won't be. So if there's a web here, you won't be able to spin a lamp or a light to remove this web. If the web was here, you could. So that's just important to remember. Well, I'm gonna put this guy back. Here's your web back spider. And we're gonna put this guy back. We're gonna make sure that's good and shuffled. So there you go. That's how you set up the Paladin. We're gonna go step by step into this a while. So if you guys mix up rules, if you guys do stuff wrong, don't worry about it. Just keep playing the game, keep reviewing the rules. If one character, some advice for you guys, if one character it seems like it's winning too easily, that's probably means you're playing it wrong. Or I thought the Warlock was overpowered, but I just getting lucky with where he was starting each turn. He was able to dominate really quickly in my first game, so I was just like, wow, the Warlock is way overpowered. But no, it's just really on placement if the characters know how to dismiss the Warlock. So just keep that in mind. We're going to continue here. So the skeletons. So after the Paladin Set Up, you set up the skeletons and the skeletons in play. And by the way, I'll go back. If you, depending on how many players are in the game, the skeletons might not be in the game. And I don't think the Paladins have to be either. If you want to play this game with 4 players, then you don't do, basically follow the player counts and rule mixes. So a 3-player game, if you want to do Paladin Skeleton Spider or Paladin Spider Manor or Paladin Spider Warlock, just, basically do the order. So Paladin Spider Manor, for example, set up the Paladin, then the Spider, then Manor, or Paladin, then Skeletons, then Spider, or Skeletons, then Spider, then Warlock. So it just really depends of who you play as. But like I said, I'm playing as if there's a 5-player game, so I can briefly go over each role. So the setup for the skeletons. Place the skeletons board in front of you, which is this. Set your stability to 2. It kind of has to load for a second there, but yeah, we're at 2 right now. Collect the 2 crackling skulls tokens and the 4 pit markers. These I'm pretty sure cackling skulls is only for casty, and the pit markers are for smashy. Or I'm pretty sure there's a card that allows another one of these guys to put down pits. I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me, but we're just going to associate the pit markers with smashy and the cackling skulls with casty for now. So set your stability tile to 2. Collect the 2 crackling skulls tokens and the 4 pit markers. Shuffle the 15 gear cards into a deck. Alright, so this might not be canon. This might not be how people do things. But if you're playing with the expansion, then you would need to choose. My interpretation of this, I read through this rulebook and how you would handle this. My interpretation would be you would go ahead and randomly choose 5 skeletons. I know it's not orthodox, and then get rid of the remaining 4. Like put these back in the box, for example. I'm just going to treat this as the box. You would reveal these to see who you would have. I got Screamy, I got Casty, I got Smashy, I got Sniffy, and I got Shooty. So this is my team. I'm gonna flip these guys back over. Wait. And then I'm gonna choose the 15 gear cards that associated with all of them. So Sniffy, this is one, this is one, this is one. Shiny, that's not one, that's not one, that's not one. Singy, we're not playing with Singy, so he's going to be discarded. Smashy, we're playing with Smashy. Shooty, we're playing with Shooty. Screamy, we're playing with Screamy. Stabby, we're not playing with Stabby, so Stabby's over here. Slashy, we're not playing with Slashy, so his cards are going over here. Casty, we are playing with Casty. All right, so here's your 15 gear cards. I'm going to put these guys back into the box. And then I'm going to put these guys back into the box as well. If you want to play with them, or if you really want to, you could just play with the 5 originals. I would actually recommend that. The 5 originals are Screamy, Casty, Shooty, Slashy, and Stabby. So if you just want to play with the 5 OGs for your first few games, please do that so you don't really confuse yourself. Or if you just feel like, hey, I want to, I got the expansion, I got these extra skeletons, let's just do that. But in my point of view, that's how you would do this. I might be wrong. I actually never actually looked into it. I just kind of assumed this is how it would go because you can only have 5 skeletons, and instead of having gear cards that you're not going to use, I would just choose the 15 and shuffle those out. Really up to you guys. If for the gear cards, I would actually probably leave these up here until you got them drawn out. I'd probably bring these guys over here. And then once you start revealing gear cards and start playing them, I would probably put these cards up here to see them. Or I've seen a trick where you can, when you keep them in your hand and play them out, and you kind of just do this, for example. Yeah, do that. Whatever works best. So that's how I would do this. I would then shuffle your gear cards, get your 5 skeletons out. How do I group? All right. So we got our 15 gear, we got our 5 skeletons, so we're gonna continue here. Shuffle the 5 skeleton cards and place them face down below the march order, the 5 march order spaces on your board. So we're gonna shuffle these. We're gonna do this. Wait. We're not doing snap anymore, so we're gonna do this. So you place down your 5, the order is important, and you flip over your first 2. We got Cassie. We roll the dice to see where Cassie goes. It looks like that was a pretty bad roll, but we're just going to follow it anyways, which is a 1. You can either roll the green dice in real life or just hover over the dice, press R on your keyboard. And then we're going to reveal Shooty. Where's Shooty going to go? Shooty's going to go to number 2. And then flip the 2 leftmost skeletons face up, roll the spawn die and place the skeleton figure on that is first in march order on the spawn, whose number matches the roll. Do this again for the second, that is the second march order. Place the other skeleton figures nearby. So I'm just going to place these guys over here because they haven't spawned yet. Spawning is different. You can do that in your order, but at the beginning of the skeletons, they can only have 2 skeletons. To bring all 5 out is part of the strategy. To get more, as time goes on, the Paladin's going to get more powerful, harder to kill. So the skeletons are probably going to want to have more guys out. It's all part of the strategy. But that is, for now, that is a setup for the skeletons. Now we're going to go into the setup for the giant spider. For the giant spider actually has to be in giant spider form. So, and the spider is probably one of the most confusing characters. It took me a minute. We will go over the spider later, but for now we're just going to go over the setup. In summary, the spider has 3 forms: the giant spider, the spiderlings, and the sorcerer. You can read more about them through playing the spider. But for now, we'll just set this up. Collect the 3 form boards, which is here. If you really want to, I've actually seen, if you're playing this in real life, you can place the boards like kind of in a row. Flip over the 2 forms you're not playing as onto the poetry, and then you can flip them back over for the ones that you choose and are playing as, just to keep track of who's who. Or you can just keep them all face up so you kind of have a know what's going on. Just say, hey, I'm playing as a giant spider this turn, and then you can just keep reading the board so you know what your strategy is, who's best to play as. So we got the 3 form boards here. If you're playing this on tabletop, you can go to the state and press one of these. Number 1 is giant spider, second is the sorcerer and the spiderling. So we have the 3 boards here. Shuffle the 12 power cards into a deck and draw 3 power cards. These are the power cards, which is the little spider icons. We're going to draw these into our hand. Shuffle the 12 power. Okay. Collect the 15 blood tokens and 10 web tokens. Set the tarot dial to 0 which it is. Collect the giant spider and sorcerer, 5 spiderlings and 3 egg figures, which is all of this is here. So we got 15 blood tokens, 10 webs, 3 eggs, and then the green is the spiders. We're not playing with the shadow plan, so I'm just going to delete that. And then place the giant spider figure on the central pit on the map. So this guy is actually going to go here. So as you can see at the moment, it's already kind of stressful, because as a Paladin, you're like, all right, I got my target. I got my target here, but oh crap, I got these freaking skeletons coming at me. So I gotta keep those guys in mind. As the skeletons, you're like, all right, I got my target here, but oh crap, I got this giant spider who can kill my guys, and to get blood tokens. So the whole goal of the spider is to collect blood, to get webs out, to get eggs out, to gain terror. So it's kind of this big mix, and the spider is like, oh crap, I got food here, I got blood rooms I gotta explore, I need terror, and stuff I need to run away from, but I have the Paladin who's probably gonna kill me. Not probably, but I gotta watch out so this Paladin doesn't kill me. And now, so that's kind of like the players who start on the board. There's 2 players who don't start on the board, which is the Manor. So let's go to setup. Place the Manor board in front of you. That's right here. Collect the 6 portent cubes. And when I first played this, I was wondering, like, why is there a Wraith and then the Manor? So if you're playing the Manor, you're literally playing as the mansion. It's kind of important to understand that, because you're going to be moving rooms around, flipping stuff around, or flipping stuff up, revealing cards, you know, rotating stuff, you know, placing down walls. And it's like, how is this freaking ghost being able to do this? Because you are the Manor itself, and you take form as the Wraith. So just keep that in mind. It took me a minute to realize that. Maybe I'm just stupid, but if you haven't realized that yet, there you go. Collect the 6 portent cubes. These are your portent cubes. Place the 3 omen cubes in the unsigned omens box. So here's omens. So unlike other factions like the Warlock, unlike the Paladin, unlike I think those are the only 2 factions that use these cubes. So unlike these 2 factions, your cubes are different as the Manor. So so it's good to distinguish both of these. So your portents, when you get portents, they will still stay on your board for the rest of the game. Your omens, and like, you won't pick these guys up, you won't move them, you won't unassign them, they will stay here on the game. And you get portents by completing rituals, but your omens you will place down each turn, and then at the end of your turn you'll place them back. So that's just something key to remember as the Manor. Collect the 8th figure. Place this Seals cube on the 0 space of the Seals track, which is here. It goes there. Shuffle the 13 ritual cards to a deck and draw 3. So we're gonna just go give these guys good shuffle. At the start of your first turn, place the Wraith on any tile with no figures. So that's gonna be the we're gonna wait. We're gonna place the Wraith on a tile when it's turn. We'll go to the Warlock setup. Place the Warlock board in front of you like so. Collect the 20 curse cubes, or curse markers, which is these. I kind of like moving these over here just so I kind of know where everything's at. Collect the 5 magic cubes. Place 3 cubes in the unassigned magic cubes track. Place the spells cube on the bottom space of the spells track, which is here. Place the spells cube. Oh wait, shuffle the 10 spell cards into our deck. We're going to shuffle these. At the start of your first turn, place a Warlock in any tile with no figure. So that's good to know. So that is setup. Well, anyways, just go through your sheets. You got these helpful sheets to help you with setup. It's additional rules and reminders and playing and strategy. So your sheets are very helpful. I would highly recommend going through these. So as any player, obviously we're going to start with the game starts with the Paladin first, but while people are setting up, while things are going on, I would recommend reading your traits. Remember, going back to your traits over and over again to make sure you're doing a legal action. So the only thing the Paladin you have to worry about is Your figure is not removed when hit. Each time you're hit by a skeleton, you lose 1 health. Usually, figures on the map, figures are the standees. So poltergeists, skeletons, I mean, technically the giant spider is a figure, the wraith is a figure, the warlock is a figure. Remember, go through your terms and make sure the glossary actually tells you what a figure is. A cardboard standee or a plastic miniature. So this is a plastic miniature. The only thing that's not a figure is a web. Webs are not figures. They actually should be circles as well. I'm not sure why they made, in this game, they made these look like figures, but they're not. But eggs are figures. That's important to know. For the manor, for example. For the manor, you're going to be performing rituals. You can't have figures in your spaces you're moving, starting from, ending into, or moving through. So, but, yeah, so basically, as a Paladin, you're formidable. Your figure is not removed when hit. Each time you're hit by a skeleton, you lose 1 health. Basically, usually figures start off with some form of strength, some form of defense. So each skeleton has 1 defense, 1 attack in the giant spider. If you look at it right now, it's 2. I'm pretty sure it has a trait that basically it always hits. It doesn't even have to worry about attack. But usually you can remove stuff. The Paladin is never removed. He only loses health when he's hit. And he only loses health each time he only loses health if he's hit by a skeleton. So the spider, for example, can go and use things to bite the Paladin. The Paladin won't lose health, but the spider can get blood. It's a bold move for the spider, but it is a legal action. The spider can hit a skeleton in a tile, which he can't, to my knowledge, he can't enter the grounds because it's not adjacent. But the spider can attack to remove to get blood. So that's or from a poltergeist or from any figure, really. It doesn't make sense, I know, but that's how it kind of works. But just so you know, usually the figure is removed, except for the wraith, except for the warlock. But the Paladin is not removed or lose health. Besides, is never removed, but loses health only by the skeletons. So that's just important to know. He's formidable. So the Paladin is wanting to prove yourself as a favored crusader once again, so you venture into the manor to kill the devious spider by hitting her 5 times. But beware, the old inhabitants of the manor, the skeletons seek to kill you as well. If they reduce your health to 0, you lose. So Paladin has 7 health. The spider has 5 lives, represented by her babies. So for the Paladin to win, the Paladin is going to have to hit and have strength greater than the spider's defense, depending on the terror that she has accumulated. So over time, the spider is going to get more powerful. So you kind of just want to, like, I'm not saying charge in there, but basically beware of the skeletons, but try to always get the spider. If the giant spider is hit, the giant spider is a shapeshifter. So then it will spawn spiderlings. It will lose 1 life automatically. So the life, which will go to the box, and then depending on how many spiderlings are left, these will be spawned adjacent to. Basically like a straight line, only on adjacent tiles. So let's just say this, for example. The spider could go here. On the next turn, the spider can choose one of these spiderlings to spawn. Most likely the farthest one. Or the spider could stay in spiderling form and move each spiderling altogether. The spider is very complicated. It's kind of hard to know, but just so you know, your goal is to hit the spider 5 times and to kill all of her babies, which is a spiderling. So that, just so you know, that's how you're gonna win as a Paladin. You're gonna lose as a Paladin if the skeletons can hit you. Right now, you actually start off with 0 strength and 0 defense. But each time you prepare, for example, you will get 1 defense and 1 strength. So you can only hold 4. This is very important to know. So as time goes on, you'll get more cubes. You can't just put all 8 here. You can only hold 4. But 3 is a legal move, 4 is a legal move, but 5 is a no-no. So just remember that. And skeletons, please, if the Paladin forgets, most likely will on his first game. Just remind the Paladin, only 4 cubes on prepare. But the skeletons start off with 1 strength. Skeletons have 1 strength, plus 1 per space with the skeleton or crackly skull adjacent to defender. The skeletons are distracting, which means each time a skeleton attacks, it gains 1 strength per adjacent space with a skeleton or crackling skull's token in it. So just so you know, for the skeletons to attack, they have to be in your space, or Shooty has the ability that they can actually shoot 2 tiles away as long as the tiles are visible. So right now this is invisible, but Shooty's here. Shooty can hit. To my knowledge, Shooty strike. Main target visible figure exactly 2 spaces away. My interpretation of Shooty, it's kind of confusing, but my interpretation of Shooty is Shooty can either strike 2 spaces away that are visible. Does it say visible? Exactly 2 spaces away. This does not remove Shooty. Target a visible figure exactly 2 spaces away. To my knowledge, you can play this in 2 different ways. My interpretation is I think Shooty has to strike 2 spaces away to do a hit. So if Cassie's here, this is plus 1 strength for the skeletons, because Cassie's over here doing, seeing spooky, scary skeletons and distracting the Paladin, like, huh? And then Shooty's over here like, yo, I'm gonna shoot, and like hits him. So each skeleton hits in a different way, but normally the skeleton has to go to a tile, has to spend a stability, which is strike, spend his 1 stability, attack an enemy figure on your tile, remove the skeleton. So attacks it. In this case, if the Paladin had 0, for example, or even just 1, let's say it was 1, then the skeletons would be at 2 strength, and the Paladin would be at 1 defense, so then the Paladin would lose 1. This skeleton would get respawned, and that skeleton would go farthest to the left. So it's just important to know exactly where these guys are coming from. So you just have to make sure you keep your eye on the skeletons, but also keep your eye on the goal, which is the giant spider. So, all right, so that's how you win. That's how you win. That's how you will lose. So it's just it's important to like keep in mind. All right, where am I at? What's going on? Where are the skeletons? Where's the spider? Where's the other 2 or other players that I have to like look after? This might be confusing for you. So thankfully there's an overview of basically kind of like the strength and weaknesses of each faction on the back of this sheet. Very useful. I'd recommend reading all of this, and just basically keep in mind whoever's in the lead. The Warlock is in the lead. All right, let's go to the Warlock. Let's read this. How can we make the Warlock less lose? I would say if a faction ever gets too powerful, it's basically almost too late. You basically lost. So just keep in mind, if it seems like a faction is getting towards its goal, even a little bit, I would review this and basically say like, all right, what can I do? Is there anything I can do to help stop that faction from progressing a little bit? So just keep that in mind. But we are going to go ahead and do the first turn as the Paladin. You can do this however you want. You will not be able to sprint your first turn. You can only sprint if you have 2 visible tiles or 1 visible tile, and you just basically just want to sprint. And yeah, that's basically it. But your starting turn, you kind of only two things you could do here is, you won't know what this is obviously, but I kind of know what that is. But the only thing you could do is either prepare yourself or crusade. The reason why you would want to prepare is because there's this things called poltergeist. Poltergeist have 0 strength and 1 defense. And poltergeist respawn either by the manor completing tasks or rituals to spawn them, or the warlock spawning them by doing actions, or by flipping tiles. You're most likely at the very beginning, well, the only way you will be able to experience a poltergeist during your first turn would be if you flipped a poltergeist tile. Is this a poltergeist tile? Yes, it is. So let me just show you what would happen here. So if I did not prepare and I was like, all right, I'm just going to crusade, I would choose a path. Let's just say we chose this path, for example, or let's do the easy route first. Let's say we chose this path, for example. Oh, okay, I reveal the tile. Crusading means move 0 to 1 spaces. So technically, I did automatically move here before I flipped. I flip it, and I gain 2 grit because I revealed a tile. And then basically I would have to attack figures. So there's no figures here, thankfully. And there's no shrines and there's no collect treasure. So there's nothing really I could do. These are separate actions for a crusade, just so you know. So I moved here, there's nothing here. I can orient this tile as long as there's an opening matching it. I can't do this, for example. I can't do this, for example, but I could do this if I want to, and I can do this if I want to. It's just important to know the tiles you are placing and doing. Let's say we did go here. A tile would go at the end of, or a dark tile would be laid on each entrance that there is an opening. So there's no opening here, so a tile won't be laid here. Obviously this is the ground, so there won't be a tile, and there's a huge wall right here, so there won't be a tile that will spawn here. So that would be an action. The pit, it's good to know what each tile does. The pit for the Paladin, I would keep this in mind. No immediate effect. Later skeletons can move here easily. So pits, at the end of a skeleton's turn, there's a pit on the starting tile too. Let's say there was a skeleton here. To transport and get closer to you, Shooty could go here, and then they can move up to 5, and then tunnel to you. They could do this multiple times with multiple skeletons in a turn. And then Cassie could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and attack you if you didn't prepare at all. So just keep that in mind for pits. But let's say you didn't go here, for example. Let's say instead of going there, let's rewind back time. You didn't get your grit. You were like, all right, I'm gonna crusade. I'm gonna go right, without preparing. This is a poltergeist tile. So I would flip this. Technically, you are here. I would kind of do whatever works best for you. The order doesn't technically matter, but I like doing my little clock trick that I showed you at the very beginning. A poltergeist would automatically spawn. The poltergeist has 1 defense, 0 strength. The Paladin right now has 0 strength, 0 defense. So in order to stay in this tile, the Paladin would have to kill the poltergeist. You can read this. You can read this in attacking enemies. When you enter a tile with an enemy figure, you must attack it. When you attack, check whether your strength is greater than the enemy's defense. If it is, you hit. Remove the enemy's figure from the map. If it is not, you miss. Do not remove the enemy figure. Poltergeist is an enemy figure. It has 0 defense. Or sorry, it has 1 defense. And because I crusaded right away, I got my 2 grits. I would not be able to kill this poltergeist as the Paladin because I have 0 attack. So what happens is I rush into this room. I'm like, oh crap, a poltergeist. I try to slice the poltergeist with my sword. I miss because of the poltergeist's amazing dance moves. And so then I would have to retreat because I lost that battle. So that is a risk you just have to think about during your first turn as the Paladin. Is it worth not preparing so I can crusade, or should I not prepare at all in the hopes I don't encounter any poltergeist tiles so I can get closer to this to the spider? So that's just something you kind of have to outweigh. Let's do this. I don't know what I would necessarily do in this instance. Let's just go ahead and say these two tiles are at the bottom, and what would I do? I would, let's just do this. I would probably crusade. Yeah, we'll rewind time. We're gonna say we start with 2 different tiles. I would honestly probably just crusade. I'd probably try to get to the spider as soon as possible and take that risk on. We're gonna go right. It is a pit tile, so I'm gonna orient it like that for whatever reason. Technically, I could just leave it like that. So let's just do that. I'm gonna put down 2 new tiles here. I went here. I did 2, and then now I got a few more options. I could prepare, I could sprint, and I could crusade. I could be like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to go this way. I'm actually gonna go here. The reason why I went right instead of left is because the skeletons are on my left side. If it was something like this, for example, let's say the shooter was here and then caster was here, I probably would be like, all right, I don't know what to do here. Let's just try to like get to the skeleton. This is kind of a sticky situation when you first start. But for now, I chose to go right because that's away from the skeletons. I'm not going to go back or sprint back, because why would I do that? The skeletons are here. And I will just crusade again. I'm going to go up because that gets me closer to the skeletons. These are 2 pit tiles, so I kind of have to remember that for skeleton transportation. We're going to place 1 here. Place 1 right here. And a tile here. And I got 2 grit from there, 2 grit from here. And it's important to know, this is very important, I haven't really gone over yet, as you're progressing with the Paladin, you will be, you're kind of the hero, you're trying to get more experience, more XP, so you can level up. And I would say like leveling up is like you get more actions, you get more cubes immediately, or you get favor cards, you draw 3 and you choose one to basically keep in hand for later, or you could play right away to basically gain more power. As a Paladin, you're basically just trying to discern, do I want more passive effects or cards or treasures, or do I want to discard treasures to get more grit? And more grit is your XP. The more grit you have, the more powerful you are, the harder it is for the skeletons to probably kill you because you can prepare more. So I would just keep that in mind. Right now, I gotta think about this because Shooty, these guys are really close, right? So Cask could go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and be my tile. Shooty could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and if there's somehow a visibility, wait, Shooty's here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shooty can't really get to me. Cassie 1, 2, 3, 4. Cassie can get to me right now. And because I have 0 defense, I could get hit. Or if I really want to take a risk, I could crusade here. If it's a poltergeist style, I'm going to move back and I'm going to suffer hits from Casty. Or I could just be like, screw it, I'm not going to take that risk. I'm going to do prepare. And in this instance, I don't know what I would necessarily do. I know something to keep in mind during the skeleton's first turns, they will lose 1 stability per skeleton on a lit tile except pits. So if they start their turns, if Cassie starts here, then Cassie won't lose a stability. But if Cassie starts here during the turn, then Cassie will lose a stability. So I could, as a strategy for the Paladin, I could move here. Wait. Yeah, I could be like, all right, I'm going to crusade, get farther away from Casty and Shooty. I'm not going to wish to spider this turn, so you know what, screw it. I'm going to go over here. and just reveal this armory. Basically, I'm guaranteed armories is an armory, and there won't be a chance for a poltergeist to spawn, for anything to spawn really. And then I would get that two grit, and place tiles down. So I could do that. I am one space away from Casty, so Casty can't hit me. Shooty is not even close to me. Yeah, so there's no way, to my knowledge, for me to get hit this turn. The only way I could get hit is if the Manor starts messing me up somehow. So if the Manor is like, for some reason, is mean or has a grudge against me, or, you know, is just that one friend that's like, I'm gonna make you lose, and that's gonna be my fun in playing this, you know. Everyone has that one board game friend. Unless the Manor changes tiles, then I should be safe. I gave the skeletons kind of a disadvantage because as time goes on, as more skeletons spawn, the skeletons have to go to armories to get more gear cards. And because I main this a lit tile, if they go here to get gear cards, then they will lose the stability. Stability gives the skeletons more actions. Less stability means the skeletons have less actions to do. One of the actions is striking, for example. So so kind of like as a strategy, you could just do that. So that is the Paladin's turn. As time goes on, the Paladin will be getting more grit. You just kind of have to remember the dial will tell you here, right? +1, -1 cube. So just make sure that you're doing these actions. You will always have vigor and illuminate in your hand. To my knowledge, you won't be able to discard them. I don't necessarily know why you would want to discard them if you could even do that, because I honestly, these are probably the two most powerful favorite cards you can have. I mean, obviously there's more favorite cards that you can do, but even if you could interpret the rules and say, hey, I could discard these things, these guys, I'm not sure necessarily why you would want to do that, but to my knowledge, you are not able to discard them. But let's say I didn't just gain 6 grit here though, right? Let's say I gained, somehow I did like a wonky miracle and I got 13, and I got 13 grit. Then I would be able to draw 3. I would choose one of these cards. Let's just say I just chose Pathfinder, since that was another card that we kind of drew, and I would discard these 2 cards. And I could either just keep it in my hand or play it right away, whatever works. Pathfinder is each time you place a lamp, you may rotate its tile to any orientation. So let's say I did have light, I could do this, and then I could rotate if I want to place it down. So it's just something, there's also like, there's just all these nifty favorite cards that you can do. Like you can conjure walls, you could technically each time you kill a skeleton you only get light, but disdain allows you to gain experience as well when you kill skeletons. So it's another way to be like, screw you skeletons, I'm gonna do what I want. Or you could place your pillow of light down. That's what this thing does. You spend 2 light to place a pillow of light on a visible adjacent tile. Like I said, lit tiles doesn't mean visible doesn't mean a lit tile. So this is visible to the Paladin. So you could place this here, here, or here, for example. If the Paladin is here, so to my knowledge, this would be a legal move if you want to put the pillow of light here. If you had 2 light, you spent it and you put it here, and then the pillow of light could be picked up again and placed again. So that's just something else to remember as the Paladin. So as time goes on, you'll get more experience, more stuff, but for now, that is a general overview. Something else that I was mistaking, crusading. Let's say, is one of these a... Okay, so this is a shrine. So let's say somehow I was able to go here. I was going to be able to go here. It is a separate action. So if I crusaded, I got my for my next turn. I crusaded. I got my grit. I would have to crusade again because my first thing I did was I revealed, and now I'm going to have to use it to use the shrine. This is my third. Use see below. I can either gain 1 Fury or Light, or I can discard a favorite card. Let's say I had Pathfinder here, still available. I could discard this, and then I could basically just get a redo from my favorite card actions. So I could discard this, draw 3 more cards, and then choose one. Or I could gain 1 Fury. Basically, Fury is with Vigor, helps me with my Strength, or I could breach walls, or I can gain 1 Light. So that's just something else to know as well for shrines. So I crusaded 3 times for my turn as the Paladin. Same thing works with treasures. So one of my other mistakes that I would do when I found a treasure token, here's one. Another mistake I would do is if when I crusade it into a room, if you flip a tile over, a treasure would go, and the Paladin would be here, you don't automatically get the treasure. You would have to spend another crusade cube to get the treasure. So it's another way for the crusader to, otherwise you basically get these as free actions, and it just makes the Paladin even more powerful and almost overpowered if you do that. So just make sure that you're spinning your cubes and you know what's going on. The Paladin is not the only faction that uses treasures. Treasures, when you draw a treasure as a Paladin, let's say I was able to go here, I use a crusade action to draw a treasure. The manor's in play. The manor would draw two treasures and give the Paladin a choice. The manor could think of this 2 different ways. He could be like, all right, this one's crap, so I'm gonna give you this card. So then the Paladin, it keeps it, it's not as good, or discards it from the game. The Paladin discards it to get grit. That's an option, right? For a treasure. You could get 5 XP right away. The Paladin could do something like that as a strategy to be able to get more cubes, get more favorite cards right away, or just keeps it depending on what the card is. Prayer beads. While on a shrine, you may return this card to the box to draw 1 favorite card and gain 2 Fury or 2 Light. Prayer beads basically allows that individual to do that. So basically the Paladin has to make a choice whether to keep the treasure in hand, or play it, or discard it. It's really up to the player what the strategy is, what they're wanting to do. If they're trying to get more XP, you probably should discard the treasure. If you're trying to get more items, get more power, you probably should keep it. For now, that's basically how you play as the Paladin. So let's go into the skeletons. A little bit more tricky. Traits. Distracting. So each time a skeleton attacks, it gains 1 strength per adjacent space with the skeleton or crackling skulls token in it. Groundskeeper. Each skeleton can enter the grounds. These are grounds. Around the map edge and crypts. Square spaces without tiles. These are crypts. These are grounds. These are dark tiles or lit tiles. Undead. Each time a skeleton is removed, immediately roll the spawn dice to place that skeleton on the matching spawn. Move its card to the first space of the march order and push the cards right to fill the gap. So it's important to know, for strategy wise, you are going to be playing each skeleton in a row. So you have to just understand that if you're playing as Casty, or when you play this, Casty has to go first. So if you don't want Casty to go first, as a strategy, you could try to kill Casty by getting eaten by a spider, or just hitting a poltergeist with the strike, spin its stability to basically re-get the order. But for now, the order is Casty, Shooty, and whatever order these guys will be in. So if you cannot hit the let me get some water. Crap. I just spilled water over me, but it's all right. If you cannot hit the Paladin right away and there's no treasures on the board, my recommendation is to just go to the closest armory near the Paladin and just get gear cards. So for now, Casty can spend 1 ability, place a crackling skull token on an adjacent space. We're not going to use that ability right now. I'm just going to go here. I will draw. Let me just change my team color real quick. I guess I could be the Game Master. Yeah, let's just be the Game Master. I could draw one because I can either strike, loot, breach, tunnel, or arm. So just keep that in mind. You can't do these actions in between. You have to move first, and then you can do the action. The abilities on the cards, you can do the abilities during your turn. I mean, shooty strike, you kind of have to move and then strike. But if you get what I'm saying, and shooty strike, it does not remove shooty. So just keep that in mind. So let's go through this. So casting moved here, got a gear card. Shooty's gonna go here to get another gear card. And it looks like I got 2 items for screaming. Did I never shuffle these? No, I shuffled them. Yeah, I shuffled them. That's funny. How did I get 3? What are the odds of that happening? I got 3 screaming items on top of my deck. So basically I went there, I armed twice. I could spend 3 stability to summon a skeleton in march order. But I don't have 3, so I'm just going to gain 2 stability. And then my turn is over. If there was treasures on the map, so basically at the very beginning, I honestly think the most important thing you could do is either loot treasures or get gear cards. Besides not being, or most important thing to do is get your skeletons out. But if you can't do that, then loot treasures, get more stability, then get gear cards. But besides that, the next most important thing to do, obviously, is to win the game, which is killing the Paladin. So to win, you have to kill a Paladin. There's not a way for the skeletons to necessarily lose. Yeah, there's no one after the skeletons, but the spider can attack you to get blood. So if you're getting close to the Paladin, the spider, just keep in mind the spider can just hop out of nowhere and eat your people. But you might want that for your order. So that was an action for the skeletons. We're gonna go to the giant spider now. Looks like the giant spider has 3 forms it could do, but it's super confusing when you play the spider for the first time. But just so you know, your goal is to terrify everybody by getting your terror up to 12, and you do that by your second action, which is gain terror. This should be the same for whatever form you're trying to do. You could feed 3 blood to gain 1 terror. You could place, when you get 6 webs on the map, you can discard a card, not your webs, but your card, to get a terror as well. So if you have 3 blood, 6 and 6 webs on the map, you can discard your blood, get a terror, not discard your webs, but discard a card. You can basically feed and scare to gain 2 terror in 1 turn. So just keep that in mind. Another way for you to get terror is by hatching eggs. You hatch eggs by having a combination of 3 webs and 3 blood on a tile. This is a grounds. Let's just make sure that I'm not confusing guys. By having 3 webs on a lit tile, I believe it has to be lit, and 3 blood as well. And when you do that, the egg will hatch. To my knowledge, the webs and blood won't be removed. When I looked into the rules, it won't be removed. The egg hatches, you gain 2 terror right away. So as a strategy, you could, let's say this was here, for example, you could just keep going here and laying eggs again to gain terror. Just so you know. So if I was another player looking at the spider and I see something like this, I'd be like, all right, how do we destroy that nest like right now? But just so you know, each blood adds 1 defense. If you look at this, each defense is 1 plus 1 per blood token on its tile. So if there's 3 blood and like not 3 webs, that egg has 4 defense. So you're gonna have to figure out a way to get enough strength to destroy that egg. as the Paladin, you actually get XP for destroying eggs. I think you get 5 grit per egg you destroy. But if an egg or a spider is super close together, which one should you destroy? That's really up to you. If you're kind of low XP, maybe the egg, but otherwise you probably would want to try to hit the spider if you can. Or both. If it's possible to do both, why not both? But the spider. So choose form. The first turn has to be the giant spider form. Gain terror. You start with no blood and you start with no webs on the map. So you can't feed or scare. But you can move and cast spells. Each form does different things. As a giant spider, you can do any adjacent tiles twice in total. So for my eyes, for example, if I play my eyes, then I can reveal a tile. If it's a blood tile, if I play eyes, I can reveal two adjacent tiles next to me because I'm the giant spider. And if it's a blood tile, I would automatically get a blood token placed on that tile and 1 blood because of my eyes. Because it's a blood room. I'm assuming it's a room that I've harvested before. I guess that's why, if that would make sense. So that's one way. Any card can be not interpreted as whatever it says. You can actually just play a card as fangs. And as a giant spider, you could attack 2 ways, or two adjacent figures. Or if you're next to the Paladin, for example, you could actually attack the Paladin twice to get 2 blood without killing him. So if you have, if I was here, for example, and I felt like being risky, I could discard all my cards to get 6 blood and then run away. It's really up to you if that's the best decision for you. If you don't think you can get hit, so you probably want to do that so you can get some blood. But normally, if it's just poltergeists or skeletons, for example, and I played fangs, I would remove both of these guys and get 2 blood. But because the Paladin is formidable, the Paladin won't be removed when you attack him. I actually don't think the Warlock or the Manor can be attacked or can be used as fangs against them, just because they are ethereal. So just keep that in mind, playing as a spider, so you probably wouldn't be able to get blood as a Warlock or the Wraith. So I would just double check that if you can or not through the rulebook. But for now, let's just say you won't be able to attack these guys, but you can attack the Paladin, you can attack the skeletons, you can attack the poltergeists for blood. Something to keep in mind, after your first turn is over, you can choose different forms. Your forms, basically all of them will be able to, you can spin cards to move an extra space, so I can spin any power card and move my guy. If you're the spiderlings, I believe you can move each spiderling 1 space per card you discard. Or I can lay eggs. Your tile or adjacent, I could lay eggs on even dark tiles. So if I discarded 2, so technically for my first turn, I could be like YOLO, plant an egg here, and then for my second egg, plant another egg. If I really wanted to, that might be that might be kind of a gold mine for the Paladin, but yeah, it could be a legal move. It just has to be adjacent to do that. So, and the only way to lay eggs is with your giant spider form. So that's just something to know, to realize. The sorcerer, same thing. Gain terror, hatch the eggs is the same thing. The sorcerer, the giant spider can move 3, up to 3. The sorcerer can only move up to 2 freely. Cannot cross walls. The giant spider can cross 1 wall. And you can cast spells at any time. Cast power card any 1 visible tile. So, for instance, if I had my eyes, I could play it, but I could only do one tile, right? One visible tile. It's not like the giant spider where I could do two. If I delayed webs, I could lay an egg on one visible tile. Or web, sorry, web. The sorcerer can veil tiles. So let's say this was lit. For whatever reason, the sorcerer wanted to slow down the Paladin or the whoever. She could veil tiles, or as a strategy, you could veil a tile and then flip it back out with eyes to get blood. I mean, that's possible. And a sorcerer can also tend eggs. So place one blood token on each tile with an egg. I'm pretty sure when you tend, if I understand this correctly, it doesn't have to be in your supply. It could just be from the main supply. Nope. Spend one blood to place one blood token on each tile with an egg. So you could spend a blood, but you can you'll be able to place a blood on each token with an egg as the sorcerer. So that's basically what the sorcerer does. So basically, if you have a lot of eggs on the map, you can be the sorcerer to be able to spend. She can also spend any power card as if it was eyes, and the spiderlings move separately. If you spawn as the spiderlings and you weren't hit, you spawn all as a group all together. If you are hit, you will start separately, like, you know, in a line somewhere from the Paladin. But let's say the spiderlings can move up to 4 spaces. The gain terror and the eggs are the same definitions, but they can move up to 4 spaces. They can cross any amount of walls. It doesn't just have to be one wall. And you may cast spells before and after a spiderling move. So if you want to cast spells, you have to do it before you move or after you move. But what's powerful about the spiderlings that a lot of people forget about is that it's each spiderling. So if you want to lay a ton of webs right away, you could be like here and then place webs on all of these. Or if you want to reveal them, you could play an eyes and then reveal each tile that is a dark tile that your spiderling is on. As time goes on, the more hits you take, the less spiderlings you have. So the most powerful the spiderlings will be is surprisingly when you first start. But your first turn, you have to stay in giant spider form. Just keep that in mind. The spiderlings can keep spend any power card as a web. So if for that instance they could place 5 webs right away, you probably don't want to place too many webs as the spiderlings, just because you don't want to. Yes, it'd be good to have 6 out, but if you run out of webs, you won't have any webs left for planting eggs. But maybe you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on feeding and scaring each turn and collecting treasure or whatever to gain terror. So I'm just gonna lay as many webs as possible to slow down the stupid Paladin, and then book it for the hills. Whatever you want to do. It's also important if you have fangs, you can like go here, for example, if you want to, and then attack all these guys all at once, because it's each tile with spiderlings, so you just have to keep that in mind. Something else with spiders with spiderlings is that you can actually if you can get 2 spiderlings into 2 tiles with a treasure, you can discard a power card to gain 1 terror, or you can, if you have 3 to 4 treasures, so your spiderlings are that, you can actually discard a card to gain 2 terror. If there is 5 treasures, you can actually, with 1 treasure per spiderling, or if there's multiple treasures in one space, I'm not sure why that would happen, but if that was, you can eat all of them, spend a power card to gain 3 terror at once. So the spiderlings is a great resource to get terror as well. The spiderlings are also a good resource to run away. So just keep that in mind. That all said and explained. The webs. Why you want webs on the map? You don't just scare. You can actually have webs because each time an enemy figure moves, not just the Paladin, but if it was a skeleton as well, they actually have to stop their move action remove the web, and that's it basically. So it's basically a good way to slow down people. Skeletons, you know, each skeleton can only move 5, so the skeletons are like, oh no, I can't move here, because then Casty wouldn't be able to do anything else. The Paladin could just like sprint once and then sprint more if he has more cubes. So it just depends on what. I'm pretty sure the Warlock and the Manor will ignore your tokens, but for these two guys, your placement of your webs is key. So we're gonna go here, and as the giant spider, because during the first turn you have to be the giant spider. So for whatever reason, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna play an eyes. I'm gonna reveal this card because that's most likely what I would do. Treasure spawns right away. Let's keep know, like, the Paladin's eyes are probably like, ooh, treasure, you know, because he wants more stuff to get more powerful. So just keep that in mind. The skeletons look at this and like, ooh, stability. you know. So, and the Warlock is looking at this like, ooh, domination. I can dominate that. And I'd probably flip this tile. So what would happen here is that I would gain one blood token right away, and there would be one right here. So what would I do? I most likely would go here and pick this up. You could pick up giant, or you could pick it up at any point. I mean, I could pick it up, or I could use that as a way to, I could discard these 2 cards and lay an egg right away, and then maybe like go this way, for example, distract. But I like laying my eggs as a spider like farther away in the map, like corners, if I can. So usually what I do, because I'm also trying to feed as soon as possible as I can too, I usually just pick up blood tiles. It's really up to you though. If you think you could lay an egg and not have it destroyed, and you know, distract the Paladin, you can just lay it right away. So I'd probably move here. I'd probably play eyes again. Remember, any adjacent tiles twice in total. Unless I'm misunderstanding this, the tile doesn't have to be visible. It just has to be adjacent. So because even though there's a wall here, I could still do this. So we'll place a tile here, place a tile here, and then I'm going to do this one as well, which is another treasure, which is pretty unfortunate for us, because the skeletons probably will pick these up, or you know, the Paladin. This kind of really stinks, honestly, because the Paladin now has you very close and the treasure is really close. So I only moved 1 so far, and I also have webs. So what I'm going to do is, looks like the Paladin, unless he destroys this wall, has to go through this tile. So I'd probably place 2 webs here. Two webs here. One to work on my scare, but also ways to stop the Paladin's movement. Actually, no, I'd probably place 1 web here and 1 web here, and then I would probably go move over this wall for my one wall, jump over, and then 3. I'd probably move here. So I was here, 1, 2, 3. I revealed. I did eyes twice, and I also did webs once. So that basically, that's my turn. What I could have done. It's important to try to use all your power cards if you can, because at the end of your turn, you're gonna have to discard remaining power cards, then draw cards equal to spirit. So I'm gonna draw my 3. I can, you know, have these revealed out, start planning ahead what I'm gonna do by my next turn, and my turn is done. So that is the giant spider. The spider could be very confusing. Be patient with yourself. Make sure you review the rules. You might just have to, if you can't, just follow the order arrangement in the rule book. And now we're going to play as the Manor. So, as the Manor, oh, whoops. I didn't draw my ritual. So technically, the Manor is supposed to have 3 ritual cards I didn't draw. Apologize about that setup. Make sure you read this very carefully. So it looks like it's the start of my turn, so I get to place my manor someplace else. Looks like the manor is kind of not out of luck necessarily, but has to think hard. And because I've been explaining this to you and I didn't really see my these cards, I kind of have to think about this. Does it have to be a visible tile? So place the wraith on any tile with no figure. So I'm going to place my figure here in the hopes that, what is this? It's important to know. So the wraith has to perform rituals. In order to perform a ritual, the outline line can't have walls blocking the path, even though the wraith can move through them. So, oh yeah, I forgot to read my traits. So the traits are, oh, I forgot to read the traits for the spider too. So the traits are agile. You always hit on attacks, cannot be forced to attack for the spider. Crawliest, giant spider can cross one wall per turn, and your spiderlings can cross any number of walls. Shapeshifter, when a spiderling's hit, return it to the box. When the sorcerer giant spider is hit, return a spiderling to the box. Move your figure, place a spiderling on a tile adjacent to your old figure, then place each remaining one on a tile adjacent to the previous spiderling place. And then tiny, your spiderlings and eggs do not force attacks. So that's just to keep that in mind. So that's important to know, because if there's a spiderling or an egg here and the Paladin walks in it, or a source or a skeleton, they don't have to attack it. They could, I mean, they could attack it, but if they had the power to do so, but it doesn't force attack like a poltergeist would. The manor is ethereal. Your wraith can cross walls, cannot attack or be attacked. Ignore the effects of enemy tokens. Does not remove enemy tokens when entering their space. Spooky. So normally when a Paladin enters a space with like a blood token or a web, the player removes one of each type of enemy token away. So if this is a crackling skulls, that's removed. If it's a web, that's removed. If it's blood, it's removed. So just keep that in mind. But the manor can actually go into a tile with a web, not remove it, and ignore that, and just keep moving. So, in the manor spooky, each time you reveal a poltergeist tile, you may place its poltergeist on any empty lit tile. So it's important to know that as more figures, so the manor can only perform rituals by doing this exact line. Basically, if you're playing this physically, you can point to the tile your poltergeist is, or your wraith is at, and then draw that line. In this case, it would be like this. You know, in order to perform this ritual, it would have to be like this here. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 omens and reveal tiles. I have to go in this order. So to reveal, you just flip any tile on the map over. It doesn't have to be adjacent or visible. And then I could shift a tile, basically by shifting it like this, like so, or by rotating it. Or I could swap 2 tiles, the distance being edges. So this is 1, right? Because distance is based off of edges. So to go here, this would be 1 distance. So so to swap, it would be doot, right? I could swap tiles like that. But because I'm trying to do this, this actual, this one here, it's also kind of understandable that when you complete it, you only get 1 seal, and then whatever this portent is, you get that portent there for the rest of the game once you get it. So you could strategize of like, all right, is this portent more important, or is this potent more important? I most likely will do both of these sooner or later, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I'm going to reveal those 2 tiles, and then I will, just in case a poltergeist spawns in either of these, I'm just going to be able to, I'm going to do swap, just in case. So let's do it. Let's reveal this. Okay, that works. It still works for my ritual, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to reveal this tile. That still works, so I'm going to keep it like that. So I revealed. I technically don't have to swap. I kind of have to think of like where everyone's at. I could make it harder. So as a manor, you kind of the game maker. You kind of have to think of like, all right, who's kind of in the lead right now? Who's winning? Who do I not want to get further ahead? So it looks like the skeletons, no one's really ahead really. So I could just think ahead like the rituals I want to do for the future. So, but if I want to make it, let's just say I wanted to make it harder for the Paladin, for example, I could swap these two tiles out. So then the Paladin has a little bit more distance to get to the giant spider. So let's say I was just a jerk face and did that for my swap two tiles. When you swap tiles, you actually just pick up everything on that tile and swap it. Nothing is removed, except if there were wall markers. Let's say there was wall markers here. If I wanted to swap this tile, I would swap it and then remove these markers automatically. So I basically did all that in order. I performed a ritual, traced through lit tiles without figures. You cannot trace through walls. So I'm able to do this ritual. I can start here. This is where my card says to start. I move here, and I moved here. And then you see this little poltergeist here. Don't mistake this by thinking a poltergeist has to be here. This actually just means that once you complete this ritual, a poltergeist actually spawns at this location. And then, so the poltergeist spawns. This goes in my discard. I get 1 seal. So I just need 13 more to win the game, and I get a portent here. This portent was, let's say, swap 2 tiles, for example. I would just move my omen here and then place it here because I'm already, on step 3. I can't go back. But let's say, for example, I had a omen here. If it said the portent goes to the draw 1 card action, this omen would go here, the portent would go here, and when I get to step 4, I would draw the card, place 2 treasures on 2 empty dark tiles, and then draw another ritual. So I'd basically be able to place 2 treasures and draw 2 rituals cards. And the more rituals you have in your hand, the more options you have to perform seals. So it's harder at first for the manor to get seals, but as time goes on, more and more cards will be revealed. But that means probably be more figures, more skeletons, more poltergeists, etc. So you kind of have to you kind of have to plan ahead. What can I swap out? What can I do? So it's basically, he's like a huge puzzle solver. I really loved when I played with my friend David, and he said that the manor is kind of like doing these dance move rituals, and he's basically just like, all right, what ritual are we doing today? And he's like, dancing around, cha 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 cha, like doing these like dance moves and doing these rituals to spawn. But yeah, that is how the manor goes. So the same rule applies for everything else. The portent actually would go to move Wraith. So I would place, I had this guy here. After the ritual, I would place treasure. So you kind of have to go in order. You must place treasure on empty dark tiles after drawing this card down to 5 discard. So the manor also has to decide I have to place another treasure on the map. This is bad because right now there's only 2 treasures on the map. Do I want to help the Paladin out, or do I want to place this here to either give the spider more terror by getting all these with the spiderlings, or give the skeletons more stability? You kind of have to think that. I try to play neutral with all parties. I will go ahead and place this treasure here. For anybody, if the skeletons are not in the lead, I would automatically want them to get the treasure, because that way the spider can't get more terror and the Paladin can't get more powerful. It's a good middle ground. I'm going to place it here because it's farther away from the skeleton, so it's going to be harder for them to get to. Technically, the shooter could be like 1, 2, 3, 4 and get it if he really wants to, but they can either loot The downside is they can only loot or arm. They can't do both of these actions unless they had 2 skeletons in that same spot. So that's just good to know. Something else I forgot to mention with the skeletons is defense. So if there's 2 skeletons here, the defense would automatically be increased by 1. Normally it's 1 strength and 1 defense, but right now both of these guys would have 2 defense. But that's also good to know. In my interpretation of the rules, if the Paladin has 3 attack, he could go here and kill both of these guys. Or 3 strength. So just keep that in mind. So that is the Manor. The Warlock. This is probably the most confusing faction of them all. It took me a long time to think about this. Just ignore this section on your first turn. Just ignore all this. Just ignore it. Don't worry about it. We'll come to it later. Basically, like, all this is just trash to you right now, so don't even think about it. I'm just putting these cards here just to remind you not to even look at it, because that's how confusing it freaking is, or it can be. If you look through the rules, it's very intimidating. But you, as the Warlock, are basically trying to siphon curses and place those curses under treasures or poltergeists, so you can eventually dominate them. The more curses you have, the more you can dominate. When you dominate it, you can actually place your figure like here, and you'll gain that ability. But for now, don't even think about that. You're gonna basically just worry about step 3. You collect your magic cubes, and then you have to place, or actually start your turn, place a Warlock and entire with no figures. I would probably want a good spot that is close to treasures and close to figures. But you also kind of have to worry about your abilities as well. So like, you are a crypt walker, you can enter crypts, square spaces without tiles. Your ethereal, you can cross walls, cannot attack or be attacked, ignore the effects of any tokens, and do not remove enemy tokens when entering their space. Your hexomancer, each time a piece with any curse markers are removed, advance your spells track once. And you're also skittish. Each time an enemy figure enters your space immediately, move to the nearest dark tile, crypt, or pit tile at least 2 spaces away, and remove half of your curses, round down, and advance your spells track once. So, yeah. So basically just trying to ignore everybody, siphon, and then dominate. So right now, this area has 3 figures, but when I siphon, I only get 2 curses because I can't count poltergeist. If I go here, this area has 2 figures, but I mean, I guess I could like run away. Yeah, I guess I could do that. But there's no way for me to curse and dominate right now because I don't have any curses. So right now, the main thing I need to do is curse and dominate. So what is a spot I can gain some curses without having to worry about getting targeted? I would probably say this is probably my best bet of getting curses and kind of ignoring effects. So I'm gonna go there, and I might just say screw it and siphon 3 times. Yeah, I'll just say I siphon 3 times. So gain 1 curse per surrounding figure except for poltergeist. So I gain 6 curses because these are surrounding figures, Shooty and the giant spider. So I gain 2, 2, and then 2 because I siphoned twice. But that means I can't do anything else. If I really wanted to be cautious, I could have siphoned 2 times, only gained 4 curses, and then sneaked like away somewhere, like here, for example. Oh wait, no. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, I could have sneaked away, but I'm just gonna stay there. That's probably a poor Warlock move, honestly. I could screw it. I'm gonna say I did that here, I siphon 4 times, and then I'm gonna move. I'm just gonna sneak back here, in the hopes that nobody moves into a spot of mine. And then the hope is, at some point, if this poltergeist stays here, it's in my network, right? So the network of the Warlock, it's so confusing. It's that whatever is connecting in a straight line, even spots in your own space, is in your network, right? So right now, I could draw a path from the Warlock to the poltergeist. It's kind of like a radar system. So, you know, the radar blips. What's in my radar? Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Oh, I get this guy. And it only matters for treasures and poltergeist. So right now, this poltergeist is in my network. If I was here, radar blips, blip, blip, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Oh, hey, look, a treasure, treasure, and a treasure. I can draw a line from here, 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 here. So this treasure, and this treasure is in my network because we're all connecting. Does that make sense? If I was here, I could draw a line from here, here to here. So these 2 treasures would be in my network, but the radar stops because there's no poltergeist or treasure in these spots. Very confusing, I know. I know. So let's just say that was my first turn. As time goes on, you'll be able to curse and dominate. Let's say it's my second turn as a Warlock. I can curse and dominate. I would have to evenly distribute these curses out to whatever's in my network. So right now, since the poltergeist is in my network, this is my second turn, by the way. Just keep that in mind. I would curse, and then I can dominate. So if I have these requirements, because I have 4+, I can just dominate this guy. Let's say I wanted a magic cube. Dominate him, get an extra cube right away. Remove these. And I would be able to place that. So the order doesn't matter. I wouldn't have to get the 3 before I could do the 4s, or I wouldn't have to do like the 6 before I could get the 3. You know, the order doesn't matter as long as I meet that requirement. I can dominate. Once I dominate 5 pieces, I win the game as the Warlock. Let's say that didn't happen. Let's say I had my 4 curses. I wasn't able to dominate because the Paladin goes on a huge crusading spree, and for whatever reason uses a fury. Sorry, I actually forgot to do turn 3. Gain 1 fury if you do not hit the spider this turn. So the Paladin is supposed to have a fury. Let's say that the Paladin spends the fury to breach this wall for whatever reason, uses a cube, you know, uses a crusade or a sprint. Would that be a sprint? Yeah, that would technically be a sprint. Or was this flipped? Yeah, I think this was flipped over, but actually I don't remember. It's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. It doesn't really matter. So let's say he crusades, then he crusades again. Or he sprints and he gets into my area. I'm skittish. So what happened would be I would move my spells up. I would discard half of my, I don't know why I have 5 curses here. I'd discard half of my curses, so now I only have 2, and I would have to run away. And it has to be 2 spaces away. It either has to be a pit, a dark tile, or a crypt, right? So I could run here. I could run here. I could run 1, 2. I could run there. Basically, I don't want to be found, and because the Paladin walked into my tile, I have to go someplace else. I could go through walls. This is not a legal move because it's not a dark tile. Basically, I want to go back into hiding, so I could go here. And basically, I would draw 3 spells. So let's say now it's the start of my 3rd turn, right? And let's say I moved. Let's say I moved here, right? I could curse this treasure. Let's say no one picked up this treasure for whatever reason. It's in my network, so I can pick up this treasure up. I'd put the treasures or the curses under it. I can't dominate it because I don't have at least 3. which basically means if a skeleton loots this, or a spider loots it, or the paladin loots it, my spells track, I would get my curses back, and my spells track would actually go back up 1, and I would gain whatever that says. So basically, yes, I'm skittish. It sucks. I had to discard my curses, whatever, but I would be able to draw three cards. For every 3 spells in hand, play 1, discard 2. Let's say I chose Glower, for example. I chose Glower, so at the end of your turn, if you have at least 5 curses, you gain curses equal to half your current curses. Round up. This is a passive ability. So whenever I siphon, I can get a lot of curses right away. So let's say I like sneaked back. What would I sneak to? What would be a legal spot? The placement of all of this is bad, but let's say I somehow was able to make it over here for whatever reason. I mean, technically I can only sneak up to 2 unless I had this domination. But let's say hypothetically I moved here, I siphoned 3 times, I got, I got 6 curses, because now at the end of your turn, if you have at least 5 curses, you gain curses equal to half your current curses round up. So after my turn, I would actually get an additional 3 curses. So Glower is a very powerful card. This card, and what was another card that I think is very insane? Refuel. If you can get Glower and refuel out as the Warlock, you can just get so many curses right away, so fast. It's just so nuts. So let's just say that happened. I got that card. I discarded these 2 cards. Yeah. So that's basically another way I can have more curses to curse. If let's say for my 3rd turn I'm here, I have these 2 treasures in my network, I would have to spread evenly as possible these 9 curses. So I would have to split them 2 ways as evenly as possible. So 5 would go here, 4 would go here, and then in this instance I would actually be able to dominate both of these treasures. But it's not as easy as it seems, because it's the start of your turn. By the time it gets back to you, so many things could have happened. These skeletons could have looted these, the spider could have looted these, the paladin could have looted these, the wraith could have moved these around. But the wraith could have placed more treasures as well. I mean, they technically, like, let's say this tile spawned and then the wraith decided, the manor decided to place another treasure here. Then it wouldn't just be 2 treasures in my network. Now there's 3 treasures in my network. So now I have to split it 3 ways. Whoops, that's 4. So now each one, when I curse, has 3 treasures under it. So just keep in mind that stuff. So now if I already dominated one of these treasures, let's say I dominate this one, for example, I would now be able to sneak 3, but the problem is now I need to get an additional curse under both of these before someone removes it. So something else that's kind of confusing with the Warlock that I found confusing is that sometimes it's not just a passive effect, like Treasure Link here. This is a passive effect. Treasures are always in your network now. It's like, wow, that's nuts. But let's say you chose Teleport. Once per turn, move to any dark tile. This is an action card or an action spell. So now if you have 4 cubes up here, let's just say we only have 3 cubes up here, I would have to place this here as an action to use this. Does that make sense? What's another example? Expose. Place 2 walls on any open edges of surrounding tiles. So I would have to put a cube here to do this, but I could do it more than just one time. So yeah. So that's my explanation of all the factions. This game can be very confusing, but it's very fun. It's very worth to learn. Again, I'd recommend starting out with the original 5 skeletons. You probably will if you don't have the expansion. If you guys want to know more about the expansion, I'll probably be going through that in my next video. But for now, that is Vast. That's how you play it. If you have any more questions, please feel free to post. Please understand, once you know the turns, once you know the powers of the spider and the strategies of the spider, and what rooms go, distance, visibility, breaches of force walls, revealing the map, moving around the map. This game is a lot of fun. Please give it a shot. Please play it more than just once before you come to any official conclusions about a faction being overpowered. Letter Games is pretty good at making things very even, very fair. So just feel free to play it a few times, then make a conclusion. There's tons of strategy to this game. Letter games and asymmetrical games are some of my favorite board games on the market right now. So feel free to look at this. I'll see you guys in the next one.